So we known for being sharp.
Okay. I was wondering what that was.
But you got a rose right here between two thorns.
That's right.
That's what it is.
I like it. I like it. All right, we're ready to get this started. We're going to do so with LeBron James, who said his playoff intensity had been activated. He needed it last night. Lakers rallied from down 19 in the third to take down the Rockets 111 to 106. LeBron James led the way with 29 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists. Lakers now back at 500 in 2.5 games back of the 8th seed. Here's LeBron after the win.
You know, we got a fresh start for us, and it's the second half of the season. You know, the trade deadline is over with. This is our squad. I'm happy with who we got. I love our squad, and I look forward to seeing how we continue to battle for the rest of the season.
All right, Chris, did LeBron prove that he could carry the Lakers to the postseason?
I think he did. I mean, he was fantastic last night. Early on, you know, he had some trouble finishing around the rim in the first half, but he got going, and down the stretch, you know, early in the season when he was healthy, before he got hurt, they had several games that were winnable that he and his teammates did not close. And if they had closed those games, they probably wouldn't be in this position that they are right now. But last night, he closed. They were down 7 with about 7.5 minutes left. He scores 8 points, had that tremendous drive and dunk, which was one of the best dunks I've seen this year by anybody. I mean, that was powerful. That was turn back the clock, LeBron. He also had 2 assists, big assist to Reggie Bullock for a 3-pointer. That kind of sealed the deal. That was a 17-4 run that turned a 7-point deficit into a 6-point lead and sealed the deal. So I thought LeBron was great defensively. He was hustling. You know, that's been a problem with him this year. He hasn't been great defensively. He took a key charge late in the game. Offensively, I thought he played off the ball as well as I've seen in a while. He moved without the ball. He was in the post. And defensively, he guarded Clint Capella at times, which he doesn't always like guarding centers. Not that Capella's Hakeem Olajuwon, but still, he's a center. He's a big man. And so it gave off the air of, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. He had put the pressure on himself by saying, I'm activated, this playoff LeBron, and he had to go out there and prove it. And remember, this wasn't, you know, the Phoenix Suns. This was a very good team in Houston that needed a win. I mean, they're very good, but they've won only 4 of 9 with Chris Paul back in the lineup. They're 11-10 in their last 21 games. So they were in search of a win, too. I thought Chris Paul played one of his better games. It's late, he didn't do as much, but he was really good early on the first 3.5 quarters. And so I thought it was a great win for the Lakers, and LeBron led the way.
No, I thought it was a great win for the Lakers. And, of course, LeBron was the closer in that game. 16 of his 29 points came in the second half, and the Lakers finished that game outscoring the Rockets 51-27. But I think that speaks to LeBron trying to set the tone for the younger players. And the thing that I was probably most impressed with was those young guys coming to the party. And so I think the All-Star break gave those guys an opportunity to regroup, because the last several months, their names have been mentioned in trade rumors. And so that was put to bed during the week's rest, and then they had an opportunity to regroup, refocus, and then, of course, LeBron making his comments public about the intensity that he's going to approach the game with. I thought that Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram in particular took their games to another level as well. And you saw LeBron trust Brandon Ingram down the stretch a little bit as well. You remember that sequence of plays after LeBron gets that dunk when he's matched up one-on-one and Clint Capella. They go down, they get a stop. P.J. Tucker misses a corner 3, and then LeBron tells Brandon Ingram to go ahead and push it. And then Brandon Ingram takes it to the hole and gets an and one. So, I mean, that's a situation where LeBron is realizing that in order to get where he wants to go, which is making the postseason for a 14th consecutive year, he's going to need those young guys to play a big part in that.
To me, that's the difference, because there was never a question about, can LeBron lead this team to the playoffs? It's what are some of those players going to do around him? And when he said that he's activated, there was a difference, and obviously he looked different. He looked more spry. He was explosive. How he actually played and produced on the floor, there was a difference in his engagement with those young guys. And not to say that he has not done that at points throughout the season, but he was in their ear. He was communicating with them. He seemed more positive, more encouraging, you know, trying to explain things on the floor. And to me, that's going to be the difference, because he had talked about how he loves to be in uncomfortable situations. He thrives, you know, when there is chaos going around him. But are other players going to thrive?
Right.
And especially when it's young guys, it's new guys, it's guys that have not been in the midst of a playoff run. So to me, that's going to be one of the most key components, is how can he continue to not only perform the way he does, facilitate, distribute, but lead them in a manner of which they feel comfortable.
I thought Chris made a great point with Ingram. I mean, imagine if you're Brandon Ingram, you were in the trade rumors, everybody's talking about you're not performing well, Kyle Kuzma's better than you, even though you were the second pick, and to have the best player in the world telling you, key game, look, take it, don't give it to me. That's huge for his confidence. That was probably one of the best games of Ingram's career. I mean, 13 rebounds to go with. I think he had 27 points. And then Kuzma, it wasn't one of his greatest games, but he was solid. He had 18 points, shot about 50% from the floor. And there was an incident where he and LeBron were going back and forth on the bench. And I like the fact that Kuzma didn't respond negatively to that. He came out, he still played well, he still hit some shots. So, yeah, the young guys play. Look, this is playoff basketball for the Lakers for the rest of the way. It's gonna, if they make it, even if they get beat by Golden State in 4 or 5 games, it'll be good for the young guys to have that experience. You have to have that at some point, but they're getting it now. These next 24 games are playoffs for the Lakers.
What do you think it'll be like reintegrate when Lonzo Ball does come back? Because they've got Reggie Bullock in the starting line. He was very efficient. I mean, he hit a key 3 at the end of the game. 4 of 8.
He's their best three-point
beyond the line. He's a
and they need that, though. You need somebody.
And he's a good free throw shooter, too.
But I think they have him in that starting lineup, so then they can just reinsert Lonzo Ball in and not mess up what's happening with the rotation second unit. How challenging do you think that will be when Ball does come back, to just reacclimate him to how they're playing, what they're doing, and just get that type of chemistry within the rotation?
Well, I think it'll be a learning curve for Lonzo, because there's a very specific style that the Lakers are going to have to play, because LeBron James is very specific in terms of what he wants the game to look like, the complexion of it. And I think last night was classic LeBron. He dictated the tempo of that game, and you saw that in the 4 matchups that they've had with the Rockets this season. This was the lowest scoring affair. And so I think that LeBron being able to get guys involved in the half-court sets offensively paid dividends for them defensively, because you saw Luke Walton said that they got their defensive mojo back a little bit. So when guys feel like they're involved on the offensive side of the court, there's a little more incentive for them to play defense, just because you want to get back on offense and get an opportunity to score. So I think that Lonzo Ball has to recognize how this team has to play, what their identity has to be if they're going to qualify for the postseason.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because Lonzo has been a very good defender for them. When he's on the court, their defense is much better. To your point, though, they played really good defense last night without him. I don't know how much they need him offensively. So, like Reggie Bullock, if he continues to play this way and shoot the 3-ball well, then it's going to be tough for Lonzo to get in there. I mean, you're going to give him some minutes, but, you know,
do you think
you
they
need
would
more of a
potentially
shooter.
just bring him off the bench? And,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not of the stature where it's like, oh, we got to play Lonzo. We have to start Lonzo. At this point, it's the best players that we can put on the floor around LeBron to win, and you need a shooter. And Lonzo's not a shooter, not to mention he shoots 41% from the free throw line. And last night, surprisingly, they shot 82% from the free throw line. If they go back to shooting as poorly as they have all year, that could really hurt them, because they're going to be in close games down the stretch, and if they're not making free throws, that'll be bad. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, because defensively they do need him. But if they're going to play defense like they did last night without him, I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see how they put him in. I thought Rondo was good. His stats weren't really impressive. 2 points, 1 for 4 from the floor, even a -9 plus minus. But I thought he was pretty effective out there with LeBron. So I think maybe Rondo's minutes could be the ones that get challenged by Lonzo if Bullock